It's by truckers for truckers. This is the Channel 19 Experience. Let's hit the road.
So I am technology challenged. So when we first had the ELDs come out, I had my own little trucking company, and my wife had ELDs put in all the trucks. And this goes to tell you, I'm old-fashioned. But anyway, she typed me in it, and I took off, and I didn't do anything else the rest of the trip. And somehow or another, I had multiple violations on that thing whenever the DOT decided to pull me into the scale house. And I got to learning real fast how to operate that thing. But hey, recently I just got a new phone here at the beginning of the summer. My phone got real slow. I mean, and I would try to make calls and it just go all jittery and stuff. So when we took it up there, the lady looked at me. She hooked it up and everything, whatever they do to it. She looked at me and she said, we have people come in here and think they've really done something when they've had 1,000 text messages that they never erased. But I have never in my life seen anybody with over 25,000 undeleted text messages and 8,000 the calls, on my, when you call and I don't answer and you get voicemail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took 5 hours or better to get a telephone, but I finally got one.
You're on the path now.
Hey, I'm learning. Matter of fact, every now and then I come home, she'll say, hey, let me see that telephone. She'll go to deleting stuff in there. But don't delete anything important. So, yeah, it was a bad day that day. Most days. The ELD and the telephone. So,
well, you made it, buddy. I'm glad. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be part of the trucking industry.
Yeah, so let's go back in time a little bit and let's tell everybody on the show just like what do you do in trucking and how did you get into this crazy game?
Well, part of that is a deep, dark secret. Let's just say that instead of ever having to go to jail, I ended up in the cab of a truck at 19 years old. It's a rough life learning how to drive a truck from your dad and your grandpa and your uncle, okay?
Yeah, they tend to be good at driving the trucks, but teaching is another story. That's a different skill.
Well, I don't know which one was worse. I mean, my grandpa I think it was my grandpa. It might have been my dad. But anyway, maybe both of them. I would sit back there and I'd really want to get to trucking. Man, all these trucks passing me and stuff. I wanted to get in there and run behind them. And, man, it wouldn't be just a little bit. One of them would pop up and say, hey, I hear a wind whistle over this flavor. You need to slow down. So I'd slow down. Or I'd get spat on the side of the head, No, you got to slow down. So after all that year was over, I was so glad to crawl in my own truck. You would not know.
So this is a family tradition for you.
Yes. Yeah. It's been in my family we've been truckers for years. It's handed down. Matter of fact, my grandpa now is 98 years old, and bless her soul, we put my sister-in-law, my little brother's wife, she lost her battle with cancer, and we had a little we had a funeral for her, and he was at the funeral, and he was asking me, you still trucking? He always asks me that, you still trucking? Yep. Well, I wished I was. Well, at 98 years old, Grandpa, I don't want you out on a truck. I'm watching you drive a car. Come on now. And he still drives.
Wow.
At about 45 miles an hour.
Sounds like my grandfather.
But well, bless his soul. I think he's going to live to be 100. I really hope he lives past 100. I'd love to have that milestone in my family. I'd love to have it. But he wouldn't fit in the trucking industry today.
No, there's a lot of us once we get to a certain age, like it ain't like we remember it.
Oh man, it ain't. It is nothing. You know, when I really saw the turning point in the trucking industry, you know, what I remember is just right after the World Trade Centers went down. I mean, there was like a big change in everything. So it just wasn't the same no more. And that's when I noticed it. I mean, it might have been way before then, but that's when I really noticed it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I went bankrupt in 2002 with my small fleet of trucks, and yeah, and when I got back behind the wheel in 2005 or so, it was different.
Uh
You're
huh.
right. Yeah, it was much different. It's kind of the
It was
bit.
a change. It
Yeah, all kinds of. I mean, the world
it was
changed, right? Technology got, I mean, before that, cell phones were barely a thing. The big fleets weren't as big, and they weren't everywhere and
no
everything.
right. I miss the cab over days. That's what I miss. Back when we go down the highway and Snyder and JB Hunt had cab. Oh, and MS. I had MS Company. I can't remember the last name of that, but anyway, yeah, they. I miss the cab over days.
Yeah, that was a different era too. It took a different kind
Yes,
of
sir.
person to physically endure those days. It wasn't as easy. There wasn't no kick your leg out the window in a cab over kind of trucking.
Nope. I'll never forget my first trip through Dallas, Texas in a cab over. Oh my God. I about had a cow whenever a car cut right out in front of me. You know, I've been so used to running with a great big old long hood in front of me, and then I make a trip to Dallas, Texas in a Freightliner cab over, and Lord of mercy, I thought I was gonna die before I got through that city. Woo! I got
Well,
used to it.
you also you tend to kind of make different choices when your face is that close to the action, like there's not much between you and anybody else's bad decisions or your own bad decisions at that point.
Well, you know, the biggest fear I had in it was to get to that engine. You had to lift that cab up. You know, it would, go forward. And my biggest fear of driving that thing is what happens if that thing breaks?
Yeah.
I even went as far as, now I was a young man back then, I went as far as putting me a couple bungee cords around it so it wouldn't make a change. Well, it wasn't going to help. What was going to happen with them bungee cords if that thing went forward? It snap, snap.
Well, even the locking mechanism, right, on those cabovers, like it didn't seem like it was the most sturdy thing in the world to be putting all that kind of pressure on if the moment really comes, right?
Right. No, that was, like I said, that was always my biggest issue or fear of that cab over. But hey, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to do it. And I think every trucker in America ought to experience a trip in a cab over. It's a
Yeah, and
different experience, especially when people are hollering. Especially when people are hollering at you, line your right knee up with that dark spot on the highway. I'm trying to keep it out of the ditch and off the yellow lights and everything else. Nobody told me. They just said, here's your truck. Go to Laredo, Texas. So, yeah, it was a different experience.
Well, all kinds of things were different then, right? Like, the air powered windshield wipers and like there were just a
Oh,
ton of
loved them.
amenities, yeah, that you didn't have. They'd irritate the hell out of me. Like it drove me nuts because they wouldn't go at a constant speed, and you'd try to adjust the valve a little bit, then you'd hit a bump and it'd move the little the valve a little bit, and then they'd go faster all of a sudden, and like
Right. Hey, my first truck was a 1981 model W900. I thought I was in high cotton when I bought that truck, and it had them, the air window wipers in it.
yeah.
Well, I tried to turn both of them on at the same time so they would be in sync with each other, but one's going to get ahead of the other one, and it's
Yep.
usually going to be the passenger side. I got desperate. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning one time, and I was trucking out down through Colorado, and my driver's side went out. And I don't remember how I'd done it, but it was all backwards. And I took the everything off of the passenger side and put it over on the driver's side so I could have a wiper, you know. So it worked backwards, but it worked.
Yeah, my big fear in those cab overs, because when I was a kid, my dad, a set of duals came off of another guy's trailer and hit him dead center in the middle, right below the windshields, right on the top of the old International grill. And yeah, that's what scared me, like just getting hit by something when there's, you know, nothing to, or hitting like a deer or a cow or something in a cab
Right.
over.
Well, when I was growing up, I grew up with the old TransStar International cabovers. You know, even ones with the air starter. Because I remember being a little kid and remember listening to Dad and Mom early in the morning. Dad getting up and getting ready to leave out for the week, and he drove an old International TransStar cabover with an air starter on it. And it wasn't but about 20 feet off of my window, but I'll never forget the sound of that air starter going on. Yeah, something you just don't never forget.
Right.
Something you don't never forget.
There was something about the coziness in those cab overs that I still kind of reminisce about, right? With the doghouse there next to you. And I don't know, there was just a home, hominess to it.
Yeah. Well, if you had one of them little short sticks on the doghouse, man, you could go through gears in a hurry. But there was something about the long one that went up, between the seat and the doghouse that it didn't seem like that you could go through them as hurry as you could with that little old short stick. I could make one of them little short sticks dance. I mean, that was just all there was to it. Now I gotta go find me a cab over. I'm gonna drive a cab over.
Yeah, get yourself an old cab over, drop about 8 or 9 grand into fixing it up, and then you have yourself a show truck.
Well, you know what? Don't hold your breath. One of these days, I sold a 359 that I was going to turn a show truck into, and came a long ways with it, and then had to stop. And well, it kind of went downhill, so I sold it to my good friend Jim Fraley, and I missed that truck. But if I had my thoughts, and if I wanted to do something to represent the truck show, American Truckers Jubilee, I would do me a cab over. Wrap that sucker in American flag.
Well, you mentioned your truck show. You got a truck show coming up here in, just a little over a week? Well, a week from today.
Yes, sir. October 24th and the 25th, to be exact. Got a whole weekend of events lined up. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
So how long have you been doing a truck show?
Well, we kind of messed around with one, I think either 2016 or 2017. I scratch my head on it all the time trying to remember. I guess I could find out, I guess. But anyway, it started out with a good friend of mine had to come out of a truck, and he needed a back operation. Well, we thought maybe we could have a good run at it, and we had some good people standing behind us to kick it all off. And we didn't raise enough, but we raised enough to help him pay his finances, and I thought, man, that was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed doing it, and I love meeting people. I mean, I'm a people person. Matter of fact, my wife gives me a list of what all I'm allowed to say and who I'm allowed to talk to when we go into a place. But usually I don't mind, so I don't get a spanking for it, but I do get scolded. And, I'm just a people person. I mean, I'm just a people person. I wear overalls a lot, and when I see a guy in overalls, I say, man, I like your drags, But no, we started, I think it was about 2017. Man, I found a joy and a happiness in doing it. And I tried a few years in between when I became American Truckers Jubilee. We were first old school Unity truck show. COVID hit, and I thought, well, everybody's not having truck shows this year, and I didn't know if I should. The city really wasn't going to shut me down for it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take this year off. I'm going to regroup. I'm going to try to make this, a thing. So I thought of the name, and I came up with American Truckers, and then I always love a Jubilee. If you were in Arkansas, you know all about hootenannies and stuff like that. they're just always so much fun. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to put in there Jamboree. And then I was like, no, I don't like that. Then, I don't know, somebody said, well, just call it Jubilee at the end. It's Lee. I said, oh, okay. So I called it Jubilee. So we regrouped, and I decided then that I was going to stray away from adult-type charities. So I've always had a soft spot for kids that were sick or crippled or whatever, and so I would pick, charities that help kids. And that's how I ended up right now with Make-A-Wish, is who we're doing this year's show for, is Make-A-Wish. So here we are in year 5, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. Yeah, and I see you got a whole bunch of events for like kids too, right? So it's bring the whole family kind of event.
Yeah, this is the first. Everybody always said, man, we need the kids out here. We need the kids out here. So we really preached it all through town and the surrounding towns. I was sitting there and I thought, okay, patrioticness. I love being patriotic, and I love the American flag. And I was sitting there and fixing to go to bed here a while back and wondering how I was going to name my my little kid event. I said, okay, it's going to be on Friday night with the lights, with our light show, which is Bull Snot, Chicken Lights, and Chrome light show. And I thought, okay, I want to add the cars too. So I picked a good friend of mine, and I talked to him. He owns Audio Envy here in town. And matter of fact, they got a show coming up this weekend at the White County Fairgrounds. It's a Wake the Dead. And believe me, some of them boys got something to wake the dead with. I don't want that much. So I thought, I'm gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna see if I can use his name and use it for a front. So we did that, and the name that I came up with was Red, White, and Boo. So it's Red, White, and Boo night for the kids. We're gonna have a Halloween costume contest. We got sibling designs, made some little trophies for them. So we're gonna give those away, and probably a big, huge bag of candy or something. I don't know. I haven't thought really too much on that other than the trophy. And then our pinup contest for the ladies dressing like 1950 ended up getting canceled. So I thought, okay, well, we'll just add the adult costume contest too. And, well, I'm probably going to give money up for the adults. It was a last-minute thing, so it'll probably be cash prizes. I don't know how much yet. I haven't discussed that with my she-boss. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we got Red, White, and Boo on Friday night. We got a Sugarloaf Band from out of Heber Springs coming to perform for us. And then we always have a little shindig for the drivers. And, of course, this year we rented one of the big buildings there. It's big. It's got a stage and everything inside of it. I just forgot what the name of it is right now. We're going to have Cabover Pete. Man, a great band out of, I think, Russellville, Arkansas. And they are just absolutely awesome. We'll have the Road Pro Family of Brands cornhole competition. Probably have a buy-in, and we'll split the money between the winners. And also have prizes from Road Pro on that. And they've also been a long-term sponsor of ours, and I'm grateful to have them. DPF Regeneration is another one. I'm even naming the adult and the kids swing costume after DPF Regeneration. They're great folks. They're always there to help us out. And, of course, there's number one, the big guy, Bull Snot, and they stand behind us as a true partner, and that's how we came up with the Chicken Lights and Chrome, Bull Snot Chicken Lights and Chrome light show. And, well, the guys, they compete for 3 of the biggest wooden and acrylic light show trophies on the face of the planet. I mean, they're just beautiful. So nice. I even had one of them made this year for my Trucker of the Year award. And the way that thing works is it's quarter votes, and you can pay $1 or $2, whatever you want to, or whatever truck you want to pay, and whoever ends up it's another way to raise for charity, but whoever raises the most points becomes our winner for the year. I mean, that could be any truck. And you'll be surprised. The underdog sometimes gets most of the attention. It surprises me. And we got a lot of dump trucks coming this year, which I'm excited for that. I mean, I love seeing these guys come and be part because we're not so much the show truck side of things. It's more the driver and his truck. You know, we come and we have a good time. It's like a family reunion. And man, if you're a salesman out there of anything, your best option is to show up there because there's so many owner operators and it's their trucks. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like Jubilee. That's a great word for it.
Yeah, it grew on me. Especially at the end, it says, did I mention this? It says LEE at the end of Jubilee.
I hadn't picked up on that until you said it. But well done.
Well, that's what. Go ahead.
Well, you got a future in marketing if if you get tired of gear jamming. There you go. Red, white, and boo.
Well, you're
Jubilee.
The first person ever told me that. Right.
Those are good.
Oh, yeah, listen, for the listeners out there, really, this is a truck show for the truckers and their trucks. I mean, man, we've had trucks show up with a blue hood, a red fender, a purple fender on the other side, a silver door, a black cab with I don't know, let's just pick a color. And they still took home a trophy, in which I was going to touch on that a while ago. I was thinking about cutting my trophies back. I mean, I literally wanted to cut my trophies back. And and a lot of this, I use a lot of drivers that I talk to on a daily basis, or a weekly basis or whatever. And we would have conversations about it. Well, I'm thinking about cutting. Nope, you do, and I quit coming. Oh. Well, yeah, I like their top 20 is the reason why I come. I said, okay. I said, ain't the bigger trophy? He said, no. I think what you got going on there is wonderful. I said, well, I feel like the handicap of the truck show thing that I just give out a participation trophy to everybody. So, well, he said, no, because it gives everybody a fair chance. Yeah. Don't do away with it. Gives everybody a fair chance. Well, and here's the other odd thing about it. All through the year, I'll have people call me and say, hey, is it okay if I have trophies made and give them away? Yeah, go ahead. I don't care. If you want to bring a trophy and give it away, give it away. I'm not going to give it away because I give away too many. But you're more than welcome to give them away. Which is like Randy Victory's kind of like one of my right-hand men, and he's got some nice show trucks. He called me one day. I think he's got 10 little some odd trophy things that he's going to give away, So we get that a lot, and I'm okay with it. But you got to be the one to give it away. I'm not giving it away.
Now next year I'm going to have to get some trophies made and come give away my trophies too. That sounds like fun.
You know what? I would love that. The Channel 19 Experience Extravaganza trophies. I like that. I like that.
There you go.
Just do it. If you do show up, you will see that happen a lot. I mean, it's it's going to happen. It's just like Truckers of Christ. They come. He's another one of my right-hand men, Stephen Myers. Well, they're going to give away 3, I think. I don't know, back here behind me. I can look. I think it's 3 or 4 of that trophies they got. Well, they're all covered up. I can't really see them. But they give away some nice, beautiful cross trophies. I mean, they're gorgeous. Oh, yeah, and with that being said, this year we lost one of our top number 1 drivers in my book due to cancer, and that was Bill Weaver. This year I had a beautiful, I think it's 2-foot trophy back there, and it's blue because he brought that truck from Shipping Wars one year. He bought it and brought it to us. I can't remember that feller's name right now. Save my soul. But anyway, Mark Springer. And he bought his truck and brought it to the show that year. And in that remembrance, I've done it in the blue. And it is the Bill Weaver Memorial Award. I give away a Bob Spooner Award. Of course, everybody knows Bob Spooner's truck was yellow. And the closest I could get to yellow was gold. So we give away a Bob Spooner Award. We give away a lady truck driver trophy that is the Idella Henson Award. She's been in the trucking industry for over 50 years now, and she still trucks. And she comes to the show, and she picks her lady to give that trophy to. So there's trophies. There's a line for ladies. I mean, of course, they're for any of them, but that one right there in particular is women alone, and it's a pinkish color, I guess. I have those 3 given away this year, and this is the first year for the Bill Weaver Memorial Award. But I think I'm going to have a replica of it made and take it to car shows and stuff with me.
Well, that sounds like a great amount of fun with all the trophies and from the youth and all the fun things for the kids to do to the people who've been in the industry a long time. A lot of ways to have the community of trucking come together.
Right. Oh, we are trying. And also on Saturday the 25th, we're having also a car show from about 9 o'clock to maybe 1, and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of drivers that has brought a car or 2 with them to show on their trucks and stuff. I've had that happen. So we are having a car show also this year on Saturday, and I belong to a car club called Pharaohs of Little Rock, which is a national car club all the way from California. It started in California. We host the Pharaohs of Little Rock Anything on Wheels car show, and that means anything. Motorcycles. We've even had lawnmowers. Hey, the lawnmower project is fun. I'm not doing it this fall, but I'm bringing it back next fall because I decided to put all my shows into one. I rent that fairgrounds, and I might as well use it. So I'm going to have all my shows in one. We have a rat rod lawnmower build-off, which this year we're going to call it Yard Toys, and it could be anything, a mini bike, or there's been all kinds of wild stuff coming through. So, yeah, we're going to do that and add that back next fall.
The lawnmowers can get pretty wild. I live in Buckeye, Arizona on the west side of Phoenix, and every year we have a big lawnmower races. They go down to the racetrack, and these guys soup up their lawnmowers with all kinds of aftermarket parts, and they race. And I wouldn't get on any of them. None of them looks very safe, but we usually find a good 20, 30 brave souls to go race them.
You know, I started off with a mini bike, one of those Coleman mini bikes. Now, I'm talking about this here recently. And I went down there to Harbor Freight, and I bought one of those mean little Predator motors. And let me tell you something. My first trip on that, it got away from me. It reared straight up in the air and started cutting out across the yard, dumped me on the ground, and I was like, oh, no. So I parked it and left it alone and thought, what am I going to do with this thing? I mean, it was mean. And the thought came to my mind, well, my grandson lives out in the country. He might like that. I called my son. I said, hey, order him some body armor and a motorcycle helmet. He says, why? I said, I have built one mean little old mini bike, and I'm scared to death of this thing. I look pretty funny out here in my subdivision, laying on the ground in a pair of overalls and a mini bike about 20 foot up there in front of me. But I had this, okay, so you know what happens with the clutches on them. They'll sit still as long as they'll sit and idle. Well, I was having a little trouble trying to get this thing to adjust, and I thought, well, I'm going to start it up and give it a little fuel. And I was standing beside it. And I gave that thing a little fuel, and I pulled that rope, and I mean, she took off like a hank, baby. My direction. So I limped around the house for a few days, and I dared not tell my wife what I done. And she says, what are you doing with that mini bike in that small little motorcycle in the garage? I said, I'm going to ride. She said, you're going to look funny. The whole time I ain't telling her that I'd done already dumped it and learned my lesson. Then finally I told her, I said, well, I'm giving it to my grandson for Christmas. He can handle it. But anyway, he still rides it to this day. But yeah, we're geared up. I mean, we're expecting to have the largest 2-year yet truck show that we've ever had this year. I know you can tell that the trucking industry is in a tizzy still. I'm hoping that gets better this next year for everybody, so everybody go back to making money. But man, we're going to make it. I mean, we're going to make it.
Yeah. This business has got ups and downs, and the downs can be lean, but yeah, we persevere.
Yes, there needs to be many changes. I mean, numbers of changes. And like I've said before, I try to watch what I say, but it's obvious. Everybody knows that there needs to be changes. When I had my trucks, my biggest fear was the dispatching, and the load getting. I mean, getting enough to pay to justify for anything. And it was starting to get pretty rough there. And that's when I gave up. I just said, I can't, I'm not going to sit and suffer over this. I'm not going to do it. So I got tired of working on them and got tired of spending all my time on them and missing out. So that's when I took a job with a buddy of mine, and I've been working for him ever since then. I sure hated it because I loved my freedom, but really and truly I didn't have no freedom. I was married to that truck and not my wife.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when you got multiple of them.
Well, my biggest number was only 5, but still 5 of them was a job.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'd find myself down there at my shop at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get one ready so a guy could take off on Monday morning,
Yep.
Wow. But you had to because you could not afford to pay somebody to do all your work. I mean, you couldn't do it. If it was beyond my pay grade, I let somebody else do it. Most of it I done myself. Tried to save me money. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it is a battle that I was well ready to get rid of. I don't want another one, unless it's just a show truck.
There you go, a hobby.
All right. Well, it's a very expensive hobby. I think a hot rod's cheaper.
Well, it's good to hear that you've got a good crowd lined up and you've got your sponsors and everything's going well. Looking forward to a big show this year, and really great that you could jump on the phone call. We got it figured out. We got you here and we got to talk about your show a little bit.
Right. That did take a minute to get me on here, didn't it? Hey, I made it. I'm a champion.
Go. I'll work on getting your
I'm looking
trophy ready for next year. I'll bring you a technology trophy.
Hey, I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. A lot of times it's awesome. And to me, that's everybody getting involved. Because I tried, and I was going to touch on that a while ago when I said I called my truckers and asked them questions, the guys that come every year, and has for ever since I started. And, I get their opinions on it. This ain't just my show. This is our show. I'm not looking for fame or a name or anything else. I'm so friendly anyway. Everybody knows who I am. But I love meeting. My biggest thing is I get to meet people. I mean, I love it. I love it when new people come because before they leave, I'm going to make them my friend. They're going to be back. They'll be back.
Well, that's awesome, Lee.
And that I enjoy.
So great to have you on the call, man. And thanks for jumping on and thanks for all you do with your show, especially working towards something like Make-A-Wish this year. So everybody get out there, visit Lee's show over in Searcy, Arkansas next Friday and Saturday, the 24th and 25th. Lee, we'll catch up with you soon, brother.
Yeah. Join us on Facebook. It's American Truckers Jubilee / Children's Convoy. Join along with us. Follow us. Get in there and get involved with us. And yes, it was a pleasure being on your show. We'll talk to you later, Tony, and hopefully see all y'all at the truck show October 24th and 25th at the White County Fairgrounds in Searcy, Arkansas. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Take care, Lee. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
This has been the Channel 19 Experience. If it's about trucking, we're talking about it. All uncut. The wild stuff, the weird stuff, the mistakes, the memories. But we talk about the world of trucking today, too. Everything from legislation to lane changes in the industry. We got it covered. Thanks for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back at the ranch soon, but in the meantime, hit us up on social media at Channel 19 Experience and the website at www.channel19experience.com. That's channel and the numbers 19. See you down the road.